I know, I've been gone a while. Today is story time. I'm going to explain to you where I've been, what I've been doing, so don't go away. Hello everybody, my name is Bill and this is SixRounds Studio. So where have I been? Well, I've been busy. I've had a lot of work in the shop that I've been working on, and so much so that I actually haven't been filming it. I just finished recently a Winchester Model 101. I changed a pad on the buttstock of the gun. Anyway, but not only that, guys, I actually have a little bit of a private life too. So there's been a lot going on in my life, and there's going to be a lot more as the year progresses. That's not going to stop me from making the videos. It's not going to stop me working on the restorations, but it is going to have a little bit of effect on the frequency and the timing. So I wanted to share all of that with you. This year is going to be seeing some pretty significant changes. And as a result of those changes, it's kept me pretty busy. The other thing that's been going on, we had a wicked spring. We've had what we call mud seasons 3 times. If you're from the Northeast or anywhere where there is frost, so freezing and snow or rain, you understand what a mud season is. Literally, the ground gets so soft you can't do anything with it. And that's been our life here in northern New England. We've had 3 mud seasons, 3 spring snowstorms, significant ones. Every one of those snowstorms required cleanup. The result is we've had trees and branches come down. So then a lot of cleanup that we've had to done. So believe it or not, guys, this isn't the only thing that I do. I actually have a life like everybody else, and I have interest like everybody else. So this is something that I do. I film it for all of you when I can, but I've got other interests, other things that I like to do. So one of the other things I like to do is I like old cars, old Jeeps, and to that end, I've started a YouTube channel. I think some of you may already know that. I've started another YouTube channel specifically dedicated to the old Jeeps and the old cars. So in the last, I'm going to say the last month, I've been working pretty hard on that channel, trying to get that not only up and running, but actually producing videos and getting the content out to people, and then growing that sub count and that view count so that channel can begin to grow as well. So I have put a lot of focus into that channel, which is called Rust to Resurrection, and I will put a link somewhere up here to that channel. I may even put it in the description, so you can go check out Rust to Resurrection if you're into old Jeeps and old cars. There's nothing that I can think of that goes better together than the old 40s and 50s flat fender Jeeps and old firearms. Just what a tremendous combination that is. All right, so let's talk about what's going on in the shop. Back in the end of last year, I actually stopped taking work in. First off, I needed to get caught up. Second off, I needed a break. And so January 1st, I opened the shop back up to additional work, additional restoration work, and you guys did not disappoint me. I get calls weekly, folks asking me if I would be willing to restore their family's old firearms, and I've tried to accommodate where I can. However, I have just officially shut that down again because I have so much work in here right now that I can't. I'd be lucky to get it all done this year. I've been telling folks call me in call me in October, November, but I'm telling you now, don't even do that. I literally have enough work to go through the end of the year. So these are just some of the folks that I need to contact when I'm ready. I am going to film some of it. I'll film a lot of it, but I'm not going to film all of it. Some of it will be repeats. Some of it will be things that you have seen. However, let me talk about some of the things that are coming up on the channel in one way or another. I've actually had 2 people contact me They want me to do two Marlin restorations. One's in 1895 and the other's 336. I don't know exactly what it is I'm doing to those yet. I've got their names, I've got their phone numbers, and I've got brief descriptions of what they'd like to have done to those rifles. This is a big one for me also. This guy has two M77 long tangs, or early thumb tangs, that he wants these things restored as well. I don't know, again, I haven't seen the rifles. I'm not sure what I'm getting into at this point, but he wants these restored. He wants these to look like they did when they came out of the factory, and I've told him I would do that. Also, this 44 Ruger, I have never gotten so much hate mail as I've gotten on this 44 carbine. We're going to do some minor restoration work on this thing, and a number of people who have contacted or commented and saying, leave it alone, it's historically significant, you can't touch it, has been amazing to me. And the reality is that this thing is going to get some work done on it. You got to remember, guys, that I worked for that company for 45 years. I understand the processes and the techniques. And this gun, it needs some work. Now, this guy wants to take this thing in the woods hunting. This is not going to be a safe queen. This is not going to be on display somewhere. This guy wants to use this thing the way firearms were designed to be used. He's going to take it hunting. It is a phenomenal little rifle. He wants to hunt with it, and we're going to let him do that because that's what you do. It's like collecting old cars. We've already talked a little bit about that. If you have an old car, you don't put it in a museum. The car is better out on the road being driven, being used. It's the same with these old rifles. Leave a comment. If you think these rifles ought to be safe queens, simply you have a collection that never gets used, leave that comment and let's talk about that as a community, because this is going to get used. Now, what's the problem with this thing is very minor stuff, but when the guy bought it, nearly all of the bluing is missing off the barrel. You're not going to bring this in the woods with exposed steel on the barrel. So we're going to re-blue this. We're going to polish it. There is some pitting up in here. We're going to try to take that pitting out. Again, this thing, when the guy bought it, it had some condition issues based on either the way it was used or the way it was stored. We don't know. But he wants to take this hunting. In order to allow that to happen, we are going to polish and we are going to re-blue the barrel only. We're not going to touch the rest of the finishes on the rifle. They're in actually really good condition. I did tell him that I was going to try and steam out some of the dents in the wood. This is a really nice gun stock. It's in really good condition. It's got fine line checkering. This was really well done by the factory, and we're going to go through it. We're going to try to make this thing look nice, like it's a well-maintained, used rifle. That is the plan. But again, for all of you haters out there, we are not, you can want to leave it alone all you want. This one, in order to be used, we need to get some bluing on that barrel, and that is the plan for this rifle. This rifle I'll talk about here in a minute. We're doing something a little bit different on the channel, something that I've never done on the channel before. We're actually going to work on some handguns. I got a guy who has a 3-screw Ruger, and he re-barreled it. And what he wants me to do is to blue the barrel. Again, he doesn't want a restoration. He wants this thing re-blued just in the barrel so that the bluing on the barrel matches the bluing on the rest of the handgun. So what we're doing here is limited restorations, very focused restorations, and I think that's just fine, and I think that's a great approach as opposed to just cutting and tearing into these things and making them new again. There are times where a gun is in such bad condition that a full restoration is reasonable. We're going to talk about that here in a minute, because here's one that needs a full restoration, and I'll tell you what's going on with that one here in a minute. I've also got this Smith & Wesson Model 1905 that needs a full restoration. This is going to be actually going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting. You know, I see so many of these handguns on YouTube where they look like they came out of an acid bath, which I think in some cases might have happened, because this is what really poorly stored revolvers or handguns look like. They don't look like they've been caked in barnacles, which frustrates me on a lot of these restoration channels, but that's another story. So this gun, the guy who owned it said to me, he said, I found this, and he says, and when I found it, it looked like it come out of a river, like it had been stored underwater. And though it doesn't look quite that bad, it was obviously stored in very, very poor conditions. But it functions. Everything about this revolver functions. Every part of it is here. It locks, it opens, it does everything it needs to do. We have a broken grip, so we're in search right now trying to find a replacement grip panel for this revolver. They didn't make a lot of these. They only made them from 1906 to 1909. So I don't know what the year of manufacturing is, but it's only 3 years that they made this thing. So it is a fairly old, fairly rare old Smith & Wesson. So that's going to be a fun one. Like I said, I've never done a handgun restoration on the channel before. That's going to be a full restoration. I'm also going to do a custom. I am going to completely rebuild this 1911. This is a Springfield Armory Garrison. This is a beautiful, beautiful handgun. 1911s rather, are just beautiful handguns anyway. But Springfield Armory is probably, in my opinion, one of the best. They just do really, really nice work. And the Garrison gets a lot of high praise from all the YouTubers who do these gun reviews. But this is a nice handgun. We sell these, or sold these, down at the retail store. And this is a beautiful, beautiful handgun. Again, it's in 9mm, so we're going to take this thing to the range. We're going to shoot it. We're going to mess around with it. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to repolish it, and we're going to do some work on this to customize it and to make this very particular to the new owner. Going to make some new grips for it. Like I said, we're going to polish it. I don't know how much of an action job we're going to have to do to this, because this thing is really slick. And the nice thing about the 9mm is it's immensely controllable at the range. So this is coming up. This is going to be an ongoing series. I'm not going to do this all in one shot. There's just way too much to do here. There's way too much to do on this Springfield, or rather on this Smith & Wesson. So this is all stuff that's coming up, guys. Let me talk about this old Winchester. This is a Model 1907 or Model 7 or Model 7 SL as they call it, which is, it's a self-loading. It's a blowback action. This thing is a brute. It's chambered in .351 Winchester. And this thing needs a full restoration. So we're going to do some things with this. I've been approached by several people recently asking if I would be willing to teach some restoration techniques, some restoration philosophy. And I've agreed to do that. But I haven't completely decided how I'm going to do that yet. This one's not coming up for a while. It has a lot of issues. Before I can even do anything with it, there are some things. We're in search right now of a magazine. Again, it doesn't have the magazine. It didn't come with the magazine. So we're trying to find a magazine. And if we can find some .351 Winchester ammo, I think we're actually going to take this down to the range and shoot it before we tear it apart to do the restoration. This thing has a lot of issues, boy. I mean, it works. Everything is doing what it's supposed to do. but the finish is we could leave the finish, but it's the same thing. There's a lot of pitting in the barrel, just like the Ruger. This thing was not stored well, wasn't taken care of well. It was a user. It was a rifle that whoever owned it, or the folks who owned it over the years, they used it, and it's evident that it was used. Everything is broken. The stock, the forearm is cracked. It's broken right from end to end. So the only thing that's keeping it together is the barrel band. So we're gonna have to repair that stock. The butt stock, there is a giant split, and that giant split goes right down through here. I see so many of these guns that are split. There's a big split down in here. So we need to do some really significant work to get this thing so that it's a nice old gun. This thing was manufactured in 1921. So they made it from 1919 to 1957, I think. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere in that area. So they built it for a long time, but this is an early one. This is 1921. The pad is busted, so I'm either going to just do a repair to the pad like I've done in other guns, or I may try and source a new pad for this as well. But again, this one is going to be a teaching tool. My goal for this old Winchester is just, it's so many things wrong with it, so many opportunities to teach, that I think this is going to be one of the firearms that I use to teach a new generation. You know, I've been thinking about this, guys. I just turned 70 years old, and not that the fact I'm 70 bothers me, but here's what I begin to wonder: how many of these do I have left? All right, how many firearms restorations do I have left? You know, I'm only one guy. I've been doing this, like I've told you in the past, I've been doing this for well over 30 years, and I had a job. I had a full-time job, so all of this was something I was doing part-time, but since I've retired, I've been doing this. I'm not doing this full-time, but I have ramped up the amount of time I spend at this. I love doing these restorations. I love bringing these things back to life, but I recently began to think to myself, how many of these do I have left? How many can I do a year? Can I do 3 or 4 a year? I've already got more than I can possibly even finish all of this in 1 year. So like I said, I've had to stop taking guns in. I've got more than I can work on right now. How many of these can I do in a year? You know, what is the value that I can give to my customers and my clients and the guns? Like I said, I love doing this, but I have to question how much of this I've got left that I can do. So I think a lot about that now as I've gotten older. So that's why I've been considering taking on some folks and instructing and teaching. I've already got one young kid. We've been working on an old Winchester that he has, and he has been restoring the gun stock. That was a good place to start, and the kid's doing a really nice job. So I have been teaching, I have been mentoring, and like I said, I think this might be a good one for that purpose, because there's so many things that need to be done to it. That's where I've been. That's what's been keeping me busy. We are still here. We are going to continue to make videos. Please, guys, don't give up on me. Don't go away. Probably over the next few weeks, it's still going to be slim pickings here on the channel. I've got so much that needs to be done. I've got so much shit out in the yards that I've got to get cleaned up. Just like I said, this is not what I have a life like everybody else, so I have things that I have to do. Guys, I appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave some comments. Let me know what you think about all of these projects that I've got going. If you're an older guy like me, tell me what your thoughts are on on life, and I don't give up, guys. I don't give up. I'm going to keep working until they put me in the dirt, I guess, because I just love working that much. But I also have to be sensible about things, you know. Guys, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We appreciate you being here, and I will see you in another video coming up soon. Bye.